Did you know your feet reveal a lot about your health? Your feet actually contain 250,000 sweat glands, 26 bones, 33 joints, 106 ligaments and 19 muscles. In fact, a quarter of your body's bones are actually found in your feet. Thank you so much for listening. It's really great that you've taken some of your time to listen to what I have to say to you today. I'm Melanie and I'm a qualified foot health practitioner and owner of the Happy Foot Clinic. I also own my own range of products which I sell on Amazon under the Happy Foot Clinic brand. Alongside that, I'm an ambassador for Unlimited Success and Progressive Property, which gives me access to courses that I can pass on to help you in your business. And helping people is something I'm really passionate about. And it's probably one of the reasons I became a foot health practitioner, because I don't like to see people with painful feet. And I've been asking people some questions about their feet. What would you like to know about your feet? And that's why I'm here today talking to you. So who's this for? Well, anybody that's got feet hopefully will find something useful out of this little talk that I'm doing. If you know everything there is to know about feet and your health, you probably won't get much value from this. But if you think you could learn a little bit more, then maybe you'll pick up some hints and tips and some things that you didn't already know. So what am I going to talk about today? Today I'm going to talk about hairy feet. Like I said, I put a question out there asking people what they wanted to know about their feet or if they had any problems. And one of the questions that came back was, can you shave the hairs on your feet? Well, of course you can shave the hairs on your feet. Why not? We shave other parts of our body. But it got me thinking, maybe it's more interesting to ask, why do you get hairy feet? Or why do you get hairs full stop? Because I bet you've never asked yourself that question before. And that to me is a much more interesting question. Before I can talk about hairy feet though, I need to talk about your skin. Your body is covered by skin, hopefully, and it is the biggest organ in your body with a really important function and role. Your skin is responsible for temperature regulation, while the acidity of your skin helps to stop bacteria. I like to think that skin stops things from getting in as much as it stops things from falling out. But you need to understand your skin, because if you want to know more as to why you may have hairy feet, then you need to know a little bit more about your skin and its function. To start with, your skin has two main layers or areas, which are defined as the epidermis and the dermis. So let's explain this a little further. Your epidermis is where your skin cells are made. And your skin cells go through a cycle that involves 5 different layers before it reaches to the top. When your skin gets to the top, it goes through a process which is known as desquamation. And basically, this is when the skin cells are shed. and it's a constant cycle. So your top layer, your epidermis, is the protective layer. It's the bit that you will touch. And it's very important. But underneath the epidermis is the dermis. And lots of different things happen in the dermis. And I guess you could say what happens in the dermis affects what happens in the epidermis. For those of you that are watching today, you're going to see that I'm holding a rather simple diagram. A bit like me, simple. Okay. So these little circles here represent a layer of fat. Fat is important because it helps to protect our organs, and it also gives us a layer of protection that helps to regulate temperature. And I expect you're noticing in the colder weather that maybe you're feeling the cold a bit more. But fat is a really good thing to help keep you warm. There's a blood supply. So this here is the blood capillary, or an example of. And obviously we need a good blood supply because for our organs to survive, they need oxygenated blood, which I can never say, to take all the nutrients and things it needs to it. You're then going to have a hair and a hair follicle. So you've got the hair follicle here, and then you'll have the hair coming out through the middle. This here is an erector pili muscle, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Next to your hair follicle are sebaceous glands. You've got pores as well. And this is all important because you need pores and sweat glands to help regulate temperature. Well, you've got pain detectors, heat sensors near the surface of the skin. And a little further down, you've got some nerve endings and cold sensors as well. So a lot of sensory things happen in your skin, and it's all really important. But we're not here to talk about the skin per se. It's more about the function of hair, and obviously hair is found in your skin. You may be thinking hair is either there to make you look prettier. It's not just its only function, but it's also there for other reasons. Now, hair isn't there to annoy you on the bits of the body where you don't want it. It definitely does have a function. It's just that maybe we just get a little bit more aesthetic when we look at hair on the body or in places we're not so keen to see it. So hair has a practical purpose. Sebaceous glands in your hair secrete oils and things that lubricate your skin and also give your skin a slight acidity. This acidity helps to protect your skin against bacteria. You probably didn't realise that. You may also notice that teenagers often have slightly overactive sebaceous glands, and this is what makes the skin more oily and prone to acne. Don't worry, if you're a teenager, it does all settle down eventually. What does your hair do then? Why do we have it? What's it doing? Hair is actually a sign of healthy circulation. your body is going to prioritize the things that matters. So your major organs are all contained within the torso of your body. And your body makes sure that that's got a really good blood supply because it needs to have it. But the further away you get from your body, the more difficult it is to get the blood supply to those parts. Your body will always restrict blood flow to parts of the body that matter the least. It's always going to protect the most important things first. So if you have a good supply of blood to your feet and toes, then it means you've got a good blood supply. So hair on your feet actually indicates you've got a good blood supply because your body isn't going to worry about getting blood supply for some hairs on your feet because that's probably not the most crucial thing for it to think about. Now, let's say you're a hairy-footed person, but suddenly the hair all drops off for no good reason. And I mean no good reason. There's absolutely no explanation for it. Well, that could indicate some form of cardiovascular disease or circulatory issues involving the arteries hardening, so the blood supply is not so good. That's just a suggestion. Now, it may be normal for you to have no hair on your feet and toes, or very little hair. If that's normal for you, it's still okay. It's just when things change radically to something that's very opposite to what it was that you need to worry. Your hair also has stem cells in the root of it. Anywhere that has stem cells has the capacity to renew. Hold that thought. If you combine blood, which has a good oxygen supply, and somewhere that's got stem cells, then you're onto a winner. Anywhere that's got a good blood supply and hair follicle with stem cells will actually have a better capacity to heal. Less hair follicles or none, like on the soles of your feet or palms of your hands, means if you may have any injury there, it will take longer to heal. And this is a reason why with your feet, if you have an injury, particularly on the sole of your foot, you need to keep an eye on it and make sure you keep it clean because it is harder for your body to heal. I talked earlier about the erectile pili muscle, and basically it's the muscle that controls the hair follicle. You may notice when you're cold, the hairs on your arms and body stand up. Have you ever noticed that? You get goosebumps as well. It's like this. When you're too warm, your body tries to get blood to the skin surface to cool it down. If you're like me, you go bright red. I go red so easily. So the surface of the skin may be a little more flushed looking. Because it's the body's just trying to cool itself down. But it will also pull the hair follicles down so the heat can move away. Another thing you may notice when you're hot is that you sweat more. Again, it's the body trying to cool itself down. The reverse of that is when you're cold. Like I said, you may have noticed in colder weather that your hairs stand on end. What your body is doing is trapping warmer air to the skin surface to try and create warmth. So your hairs actually function as a form of temperature control. It's not just the fat beneath the surface of your skin that's helping do that. Your hairs have a function there as well. You may or may not have noticed that sometimes men can be a bit more hairy looking than women, particularly on their bodies and their arms and their legs and their feet and their backs. In fact, most places really. To be fair, women probably take more measures to control their hair than men do. Fashion and aesthetics dictate a hairy woman may not be as desirable as perhaps a less hairy woman. I don't know. Although men seem to be a bit more conscious about body hair now as well. So you see a lot more men shaving. But this is the thing. Women are lots more likely to use sun protection, not just because it's anti-aging, but if you expose your skin to lots of sun, it's more likely to get more hair on it. I don't know if you know anybody who absolutely worships the sun and is always sunbathing. Have you noticed, do they have slightly more hairy looking arms and things? It's something to think about. You'll often see, particularly in older men who are of a generation where sun cream wasn't used, perhaps they'll have hairier chests and hairier backs. Well, it's not just an age thing. Yes, sun protection, as in sun creams and the like, help protect your skin. But more hair and denser hair also protects your skin from the sun. And I guess this is why, when you look at pictures of Neanderthal man, he was a little bit hairy. But I guess in those days, they didn't have any sun protection. So the hair on their skin helped to give protection from it. I mentioned that you have sebaceous glands that excrete a sort of oily substance which helps to create the acidity levels of your skin, which helps to deal with bacteria. So when you have any bumps and scrapes on your skin, chances are the skin's natural acidity is going to help that healing process. However, if you put too many products on your skin that strip it of its natural oils, and or showering and bathing daily can also have the same effect, this will affect your skin's natural pH balance. If you do that, your skin's ability to heal effectively will also be impaired. And the older you get, the more difficult it is for your skin to replace those natural oils. It's something to think about. So, I've talked a lot about why we have hair and what it does. But the question initially I had was, can you remove hair? And I indicated early on that yes, of course you can shave your hair. But how can you shave your hair? How can you remove all that hair on your body? Loads of ways. You can cut hair. Wouldn't be the most efficient way if you, say, wanted to reduce the hairs on your legs, say. But you could cut your hair. You can shave your hair. And there's different types of shavers, isn't there? There's like your electric shaver, something that men often use on their faces. You can use shavers on your legs. I'm sure there's female versions. Or there's more like the razor type shaver, which takes the hair off, cuts it off at the surface of the skin. You can epilate. Epilate is like plucking but on acid, and it's this really evil machine that plucks several hairs out in one go, and it's really painful. If you've got a low or high pain threshold, whichever way it goes, low pain threshold, you may not want to use an epilator. If you've got a higher pain threshold, I'm sure you'll be fine. Laser treatments are very fashionable now, and these promise, if you have the right skin type and the right hair type, that the removal can be permanent. This is particularly good if you've got hair parts of your body that you feel a bit self-conscious about. Waxing is another popular thing. It can also be a bit painful if it isn't done properly. And you get cold waxing, which is ready-made wax sheets. Rip it off, there you go. Or warm waxing. With warm waxing, you've just got to be careful the wax isn't too hot and isn't going to burn you. There's also waxes that you can just roll straight onto your skin and it pulls off as well. Plucking, the age-old tweezer thing. In fact, there's loads of different ways that you can shave. If you want your feet to be smoother, then there's nothing to stop you from doing that. And let's face it, if that's what makes you rock and roll, that's good for you, that's fine. And nobody's going to criticise you if you remove a few hairs from your feet or anywhere else for that matter. What if though, should you have gone down the path of shaving, in whatever shape or form, the method you're using gives you any problems? Waxing, plucking and the like sometimes can cause you to get ingrowing hairs. And there are conditions for some people where this can be very severe. Generally, the advice is this: if anything causes you any kind of problem or causes results that don't look quite right, in the sense that maybe they've given you a very severe rash or something, A, stop doing it, and B, seek advice if it causes problems that are causing you distress and or making your skin infected. And any changes to your skin in general, this isn't just about hair, you should always go and seek professional advice. I'm particularly talking about things like moles that have changed here, or any rashes to your skin that are itchy and sore that weren't there before. For whatever reason, it's always good to take advice from a professional. When can you do all these things? Well, you can go and shave yourself whatever you want to do. Fine by me. I will only say this, probably not the best place to do it in your office or somewhere public like the baths or something. It might not be so popular if you were to do that, but in the privacy of your own home, you can do whatever you wish. I hope whatever I've told you today, or what I have told you today, has been useful to you, and that you're a little bit more aware now of why you've got hairs and what you can do about them. But I'd like to ask a small favour. The Happy Foot Clinic has its own little page on Facebook, and I'd love it if you could just go out and like and share my page. Also, I have a little Twitter page, and occasionally I put things on there. Well, I try to put something on every day, to be fair, and I try to make it helpful and useful to you with some hints and tips that you can use in your life and or your business. So my Twitter account is Melanie at Happy Foot Clinic. So please give me a little follow or like and share something. That would make my day. And finally, If you've got feet that need a little TLC, the Happy Foot Clinic is actually based in Glenfield in Leicester. So if you have any foot health needs, then do get in touch. I'm Melanie. Thank you for your time. It's been great to speak to you.